Hello, friends, and welcome to Old World. Now, this is a game that I only heard of recently, and I think it's because, well, everybody talks about these things, and I'll get it out of the way real quickly, but it was released on Epic Games first as an exclusive, and now it's on Steam, and I've only heard of it about a week ago, and I'm absolutely loving it. If you've never heard of it, it is basically a 4X Civilization style game where there's the majority of the map is under fog of war. You have to explore, expand, exterminate, and exploit resources on the map. I think those are the 4X's off the top of my head. And I'm loving it. It's more based on the, well, old world, the ancient and early classic time periods. So you're not going to be seeing the United States. You're not going to be seeing Britain or anything from South America. This is Mediterranean, North Africa, and Middle East early civilizations. Now, the style of the game is said to marry Civilization 6 and Crusader Kings 3. I've never played Crusader Kings before, but it is a Paradox game. So I have played, Europa Universalis 4. I've played Imperator Rome, which I think is my favorite of any of the Paradox games. And as for Civilization, I loved Civilization 5. That was my favorite game for a very long time. I have the most amount of hours spent in a video game in Civ 5. Civ 6 came out, I wasn't very impressed with it, and I kind of stopped playing Civilization altogether. Playing more, turn-based combat and getting away from that grand strategy. Now, the games coming from Total War had my focus for some time, and Total War Rome 2 I have hundreds of hours in. I love grand strategy, turn-based games. Total War and Old World fits into that narrative very, very well. And it just so happens to overlap the time periods that I'm most interested in. So, what I'm going to do is play some Old World. And I do have to say that I've only been playing for, I think, 20 hours or so. I've dipped my toes in a couple times, not really getting beyond turn 50. And doing really poorly. So I'm hoping that I can get through a playthrough while sharing my story with you all. I don't know what the schedule is really going to be. It's just going to be kind of off the cuff. Get to it when I can. But it will probably be overlapping the days that I'm already posting videos, so there'll be a couple videos per day sometimes. We'll just have to see. Without further ado, let's get into Old World. Now I've already set up... and it got rid of all of my setup. So I hope it's still there. I want to play as Rome. I've been playing as Greece for the most part, though I did try out Carthage, and I really liked Carthage's ability to just purchase up mercenaries anytime, anywhere. I think that's a pretty great ability for these civilizations. But I haven't tried Rome yet, and I've seen Romulus and Remus both in the game, and I thought it was really great to see how the kind of dynamics between them, and actually how they look too. I found that to be pretty funny. This looks like a very Roman kind of guy, whereas Remus kind of looks like a dork. So, anyway, I don't know all that much about what I'm looking at, but we are starting off with iron working, stone cutting. Now this will be good. I can start with quarries pretty early. And I'm also able to get warriors up immediately. And Polis. Now, something about Polis that I'm not really good at is it unlocks the hamlet. And I've never really cared for the hamlet. It seems that I always have way more money than any other resource, and the hamlet brings in more money. So maybe I'm doing something wrong by not bringing in the hamlet. I might try to start that a little bit earlier. I don't know where to put them. I know that they have to be on the trade route. As it says right here, you'll get plus 10 gold or coins or whatever the currency is if on a trade network. So trade network being a road, a river, or urban tiles. And open water. And open water. You can't just put them in the open water, though. So anyway, I find that this is something I might try to force myself down this path. Grab some more hamlets. Because I've found that one thing that I really enjoy about this game that Civilization never had is the purchasing of resources and how you can purchase and sell resources. So if you have, let's say, a lot of food is something that I've always been really good at doing in this game, and money, I can sell the food off and then use the coinage for purchasing wood, which I never seem to have enough wood because I've never made it to forestry. I just end up going around cutting down trees and hoping that they grow back quickly. Which again, that's a cool feature too. How some of the resources will grow back or recover. Our two unique units are the Hestatus and the Legionary. These I've never seen. I've never made it to getting a stronghold. In order to get a stronghold, you have to have... Where is it? 4 active laws. I think the most I've had is 2. Maybe I've had 3, but I'm pretty sure I've had 2. And so this is going to be like new territory when I finally do get there. Right. And then we have our 4 shrines for Rome. Shrine of Mars, Vulcan, Venus, and Vesta. These are our 4 families, but we'll only be able to use 3 of them once you settle, or every time you settle a city or find a new city, you put a family in charge of that city. And then you can govern the city based on the family members that are available. So if I have the Fabius family found a city, only members of the Fabius family can govern it. And another really interesting thing about Old World that I'm totally digging is that the units come from these families. If Roma is settled by Fabius, the Fabius family, then all of the units that come from there have this specific color that matches this, and an icon kind of, or the shape of the icon, where they have their strengths are impacted by how happy the Fabius family is with the ruler. Crazy. I'm totally loving it. Then, of course, there's all of this other information down here. They prefer largest army, smallest military, so they want to have some standing in, like, the largest military they want to have. Now, I don't know, based on number of military units for each family. Okay, so they would prefer to have more military units than the other families. Didn't even occur to me. If you give them wine or dyes, they'll be happier. Each citadel will give them plus 10 toward their happiness toward you, the ruler, and they want to see volunteers. Now, of course, this is just the Fabius family. There is the Claudius, Valerius, and Julius families as well, and they all come with their own preferences, their own common traits, what they bring to the cities. On their first city, as soon as they find their first city, this is what they bring, versus here we'll see a court minister, 2 citizens, and a militia. Crazy, crazy amount of depth in this. I feel like this is a Paradox game for sure, but it is shoved into a Civilization type of format, and it's beautifully done by not a very large developer or publisher, might I add. The developer being Mohawk Games, and the publisher being Hooded Horse. So two things, a developer and a publisher never heard of, and they've made a beautiful game here. But okay, we'll move on. I could go on and on here. Of course, if this does not interest you, you can just skip forward toward the gameplay. I'm not. My feelings will not be hurt by that. There's only a few things I'm going to change here. I'm going to do that really quickly and then go over those changes. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this down to 4. I feel like I want a smaller map. I want fewer opponents on a slightly larger map so that there's a little bit more space for me. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing for me or for the AI. I'm not sure yet, but I don't know if I want to have 7. I don't want to have 7. That's a bit cramped. The map is going to be multiple continents. It's going to be 2 or 3. That's totally random. I'm not going to choose 2 or 3, but because I have 5 players, I'm going to go on large, just so there's a little bit more room. I feel like every time I've played, I'm either right in the middle of all of the AI players, or I'm shoved into a corner and I have no space. In both cases, I had 0 space. I do need to expand much quicker, but and I'm going to try that out here. I feel like in every situation I've been in, I had very little space to expand. Again, I don't know if that was just poor luck or poor strategy. And then the other 2 things I'm going to be turning on is allow city raising. Players have the option of raising captured cities. I feel like this needs to be on. I feel like the default should be on, right? Because this is something that historically happened. You know, it was a very rare thing. I don't think the AI is going to use this tactic very frequently, but if I feel like I don't want that there, I'm not going to be able to protect it, then raising it down so that they can't take it back is an option. Again, I don't know if this is going to be something I'm going to be heavy on or try at all. The other thing is role-playing. I've had more fun with this. So when something pops up, it doesn't say this, you're going to get +1 this, +1 that, minus 0.5 this, and no, I just want to make the choice and move on. And there's enough kind of hints in the choices. With role-playing off, I found myself just reading every detail, and does this fit into what I want for that city? And no, let's go full role-playing. And this is more my style anyway. I would rather see the story unfold than try and min-max every tiny detail. And so I've had a lot more fun with role playing in this case, and that's basically it. Everything else is pretty standard for the advanced setup. So let's start the game, shall we? Rome in the Old World. You are Romulus, first king of the Romans. So as you can see here, here's King Romulus, the founder. Here's his brother Remus. They did this perfectly, kind of stereotypical Roman when you watch TV or movies or anything, and this is his dork brother Remus. Now I won't be reading all these all the time. Maybe I will read some of the more storytelling bits, but typically there's not like full-on paragraphs of reading like in some other games. Cast into a river and left to die as a baby, you were found and raised by a she-wolf. Years later, stronger and trained for your return to the world of man, you were reunited with your birth mother, Elia. Where's that? Ilia. Elia the Younger. Okay, she's 44. Together with your jealous twin brother, Remus, you have fought tooth and nail to unite the desperate tribes of your people. You have now set out to find a place for your new city. The existing civilizations of the old world do not know the power and might of Rome, but they will learn. Select your settler and found your capital city. Right. Now, there are going to be some tutorials popping up. I'm going to kind of go through those, but some of them are nice as reminders for me because I don't fully understand the timing of, hey, like this law is now available for me to choose. The tutorial kind of pops up and says, hey, you've got a law that you need to found. So here is our settler. As you can see, here are the sites that we can settle on. We can't settle out here, and actually for this first settler you're not even available to move away from this to maybe go find another place. So this is where we are. This is our starting hexes that we get to choose from. And as you move the cursor around, you'll see that you have some better choices, or other choices at least. These are all resources. We have olives here, horses, some gold, nice, and barley, and then some game out here in the distance. So maybe this might be a good place if we wanted to pick up the game. And if we go deeper in, I'm having a hard time seeing it, but it does show it right in there. If I pop out here, I don't think it really matters. Like, I don't think sitting on the coast means that we can build ships or anything like that. That's not the way it's going to be. We can settle anywhere because there's a river that leads to the coast. We're basically on the coast, as far as I understand. So maybe sitting in a little bit more. Yeah, it does shoot around that. We have some wheat out there too. Great. So maybe this is the better place, unless we want to pick up salt. Salt is going to give us, let's see here, some gold and culture. But we can expand out later. I'm just trying to grab, maybe the food is going to be the better thing. So let's not settle over here or here. This looks like the better place. There we go. Now, what family do we want to find the city of Rome? If we take the Fabius family, we will gain a militia, and this will be better. Training is used for military uses. So if we want to bring in more military early on, the landowners, this is the Claudius landowners, And if the text is too small, just let me know. I can make it bigger. But I felt like making the UI bigger took up too much of the screen, so I kind of made it a little bit smaller. The Claudius landowners, we can have 2 citizens immediately, which is pretty good for bringing in things like other settlers and more like civic type of units. So workers, militia, the more civil units versus military units for the champions. Valerius patrons. So this is more. This hammer took me a long time to figure out that this is actually the production of the city. I don't want to go too deep into like a tutorial of what everything means, but basically this civics is more for the production of building things within the city or attached to the city. And then they bring in a court minister, which is going to be somebody that's going to be part of our members here, our court that we can use for various missions and things like that. And then the Julius family, the statesman. This is going to be bringing in order and civics. And then a bunch of civics to use immediately if we need it. So I think I'm going to pass on the Julius family. And I really like the patrons for the beginning, I think. Yeah, let's go patrons first so that we can expand using our civics earlier on, and we'll have a court minister immediately, which will be good. So Calpurnia joins the court. She is a court minister, that is all. Her aptitude in matters of state will keep Rome moving forward. She is a builder, so as a governor, she can be a governor or a chancellor. I'm not going to get into what these things mean. You'll just see along the way. Let's see. She doesn't like, or she wants slavery. 10 opinion towards slavery. She doesn't like heroes. Well, we are a tactician, so that'll be good. And then he is a schemer. Of course he is. And then she also has 3 charisma, which is good for building, for civics. And if we click on her... Yeah, okay, so orders. I'll get to what this means here in a minute. Oh boy. If we click on her, we can see what she's producing as a courtier. She's bringing in 24 gold per turn and 2.6 civics, global civics. This is our civics rate that goes towards missions that the minister or these ambassadors, the chancellor, the spy master, I think, as well as some of the things that he can do. Civics are used for a whole lot of things that aren't on the map, is more used for family matters. Let's say with family matters. Founding the first city brings in a warrior for fighting. He's combat only. A scout for scouting the world. And as you uncover some of the... and as we find our first city, another place set shows up on the map. So it looks like I'm once again kind of stuck to a corner of the map. As you kind of uncover the fog of war, you'll gain legitimacy, which helps with other things later on. And you can name things, name features, land features as you find them, which is pretty cool. And a builder. So the worker. And the worker is infinite. They're going to stay forever. But in a pinch, we can upgrade them to militia, which they're not the best fighters. Of course, they're just militia. But they are helpful if you have a ton of workers and you're being invaded. You can just flip a few of them to help out, and then you'll keep those militia. You're not able to put them back, as far as I can tell. Once they're upgraded, they're there for good. So let's, I guess what we'll do is just kind of start uncovering the map. Okay. And we get some gold and food and stuff as we uncover the map. Because we're finding other types of resources. We can also go to these resources and harvest them. Over here we can harvest lavender, which is going to send 10 culture to Roma. And as Roma gains more culture, it will... Well, we want to do that. Let's do that. As we use culture in our cities, the cities will gain certain levels. So at the moment our culture is weak. The next level, I believe, is developing, and then so on and so forth. I don't know what goes after that. Maybe strong, but maybe there's something in between. We can put a governor in as well, and this is going to increase our resources per turn. And, what else? I mean, there's so much going on all at once. So, Calpurnia joins the court. Great. Tutorial for the governor. Yeah, we'll get into that here in a minute. And then finally, we need to choose a research. Now, here is the tech tree. It's pretty extensive for being just a 200-year or 200-turn game. So I don't think that you're meant to take everything unless you're extremely focused on science. I don't know if you're meant to discover every technology in the tree. But at the moment, if we go here, we can see that we have more than just these 3 researches available to us. We have a discard pile that has stone boost, husbandry, blah blah blah. But basically you're only choosing 3 per turn, 3 technologies per turn for your choices. So you have a draw deck that you just draw all of the from the available technologies, and you just get a choice. So in this way, you can't focus on, hey, I want this. I want land consolidation. So I will take this first, and then this, and so on. And no, it's not available immediately. But you can click on something and say, hey, like, I want, when this is pulled up, this is the one I want to do. So there's that kind of an option. Forestry is in our discard pile. At the moment, these are the 3 that are available to us. Trapping, which we'll be able to use camps. Let's take a look at this. Camps, we can bring game in. So maybe that's a good one to go for. And slingers for ranged attacks. Divination for bringing in shrines. This is, I think the game even says, hey, you should probably get divination immediately, because you can found your own pagan religion and people will become happy because of that. Or administration to start building treasuries and granaries. The star up here saying recommended go for trapping. I think I'm cool with that choice because of the game right here. So I'll stick with that. And one final thing here. See how on top of everybody here we can see that we have 4 pips available for him. 4 pips available for movement, but we can only move out 1. And that's because of the number of orders that are available. So every turn, for now, we have 12 orders available to us. Now, I had moved the scout all the way out here for scouting. That was using up these orders. And performing any of these actions also brings in, also costs an order. So harvesting the lavender costs an order. But you can purchase orders by spending training, but it does become pretty expensive. You can buy them, but you need to have coin debasement in order to purchase with coins. I can't wait for that. I've never had that before. But I can imagine once you have coin debasement that your orders don't become much of a problem. But early game, you really have to, well, throughout the game, you have to really figure out, like, what do I want to do? Was this the best choice for my first turn? I'm going to say no. But what we can do is maybe send you... Oh, we even have barley right there. We'll send you here, and in the next round, we can use the order to build a farm. Okay, I'm going to end the year now, and we'll come across new things in the future turns. Like right now. So some of the things that we can build immediately, we can build these hamlets. These hamlets will, after 20 years, which 1 year per turn, it will turn into a village, and then after 20 years, it'll turn into a town. And you can see the progression of, you know, some of the things that you're getting from this. Again, I haven't been really good about building these hamlets, and I would like to change that. It's suggesting me to place a hamlet here, a farm here, a quarry out here. That's going to be an immediate problem because we're not going to have a lot of... Quarries are best to be placed next to mountains or volcanoes, or in arid conditions, and that's none of the things over here. And then there's these little, depending on which civilization you played, goody huts, or I'm forgetting what it was called in Civ 5, or in Civ 6 if they were still called that. But I'm going to start with a farm. That's going to cost 20 wood. At the moment, we don't have any income or expense for wood, so we'll have to be careful with that. But you can cut down trees and then further remove the trees, and you'll be gaining 20 wood for each of those steps. You can also remove scrub. Down here it says you get 10 if you remove the scrub, so another option there. But let's start with a farm. Let's get some more food income. At the moment we have 4. We have -1 for iron and -2 for stone. So we'll have to work on that. We have gold over here. That might be a good place to put a mine, but that's only going to bring us money. Of course, we can buy stuff and sell our resources as well. So this is one feature that I really, really like. And these change as you buy and sell too. The more you sell, the price starts to dip. I don't think I'm too worried about sending them out yet. We're on the lookout for barbarians, so let's look around a bit more. We found some fish that gave us 10 food. Okay, barbarians right there, and then in 3 years, 3 turns, they're going to produce more barbarians. So it might be in our best interest to start sending down a unit to pick at them. This is a skirmisher, so they don't counter-attack. When you attack, they just have a defense rating, but they will fire at you from range. So we'll have to pay attention to that. Let's grab this. Buried treasure. Scouts stumble across an ancient, long-abandoned structure that appears to have been once a village surrounding a mine. Upon investigation, your wise men inform you that their substance mined here was kaolinite, and that the vein has not yet been exhausted. So our choices are, we can let's spend what we need in order to get this mine operational again. It'll cost 250 gold. We don't have enough money available yet, so this kind of happens to me a lot. You know, I don't have enough money early on, and I always get these kinds of events. Now, I could sell some stuff off, but I don't think I want to sell off all of my resources just to spend it all again. So sadly, our treasury cannot bear the expense at the moment. So we gain 40 experience as Romulus. Romulus here, where's his experience? Yeah, I'm not seeing any like an experience bar anywhere. I don't know. Okay, moving on. One of those. Citrus. Okay. I kind of want to keep an eye on them, but I don't want to go too close to them. We have 8 more orders left, and as you can see here, as you get further away from this kind of ring around, this is one movement, one order, or one pip from up here as well. So standing on hills might give us a little bit more vision. What is this? Huh, okay. There's silver there, so we could harvest it for 44 gold. I'm down for that. There's some more. We'll harvest that. 3 years for them too. Let's send you... Let's send you this way. This might be a site that we want to settle later. So once you remove all of the barbarians, if you stand in this hex here, it will be called Rome, like a city site for Rome. If I move over here, it will stay my city site, but I can't take it until I settle on it. But I do have a settler. As soon as you settle your first one, you start working on a settler immediately as default. So I'll probably come over here, settle there next as an easy grab. Maybe over here there's another site there, and I can grab this later. Maybe that's a good way to think about it. And any orders that you don't use get sold for 10 per order, 10 gold per order, I believe it is. Keen to indulge in the pleasures of the flesh, Prince Remus, your brother, your heir, is wanton. Great. Okay. Tooltips, yep. You can click the middle, or you can the middle mouse button, or hold shift. It'll allow you to keep this open versus if I bring the cursor away. Just another thing. Another really cool thing about this game, whoops, well, I'll show you 2 things, is that was a mistake. I can undo it. Now I don't exploit that. Some people, and it's okay if you do, might go out here, explore, and say, oh, I don't like that, so you can just undo. Like, this shows like 100 barbarians, and you think, no, I'm not going to go that way. You can undo it. I'm not going to be doing that, but it is an option. Let's see, there is a river here, so I don't like that. But something that I do like here is when you put put the cursor over where you're going to be, it shows the amount of damage you're going to deal if you make that attack. So I really, really like that. It shows that we're only going to be dealing a couple damage against the skirmisher across the river. So it'd probably be best to find a way across the river to make those attacks first. Let's see here. And they don't have control over the hexes adjacent to them because they're not melee. So we get to move around them. I'm forgetting the word here. Well, darn. So I'd like to get across and start making attacks from here, but I also don't want to get trapped back here because they're going to be bringing in another barbarian in a turn, 2 turns. So maybe I back up to here so that they can't fire at me. They could fire at me if I was standing here. So we've found the Drouse River. Well, we found a river. We can name it to whatever river we'd like. I'll keep it that for now. We gain 2 Legitimacy, which will help with orders as well. I'd like to see what's over here. Requires anchored ship. So you have to have a ship anchored to ferry them across these, across rivers, or across ocean tiles until you have a certain technology. And then another cool thing is you can hide in these forests. If the forest tile is neutral or friendly, you can hide in it. So we can stick to the kind of the shadows here. We're not going to be able to go that way now. So we can stick to the shadows when there are barbarians around or enemies around, as long as it's a neutral territory or friendly. One other thing before I hit end here, if you own the ocean tile, you can freely use that for movement. So like this would cost a few, like going from here to here, right? Instead of having to walk all the way through that. Prince Remus has recently proven his good sense and insight. He has gained 1 wisdom, which is good for science. If we click on him, we can show that he's actually bringing in 2. As a successor, he's bringing in 2 science points per turn. Not bad. So they're going to be bringing 1 more in next year. $11 more 11 orders here. You've got 1 more order. We can get up to here and still have a couple more turns. 5 food. And then there's tribes. This is kind of like civilization, city-states. We've found the Scythians. I don't like the Scythians. Because they all are on horses. They're all mounted. Some of them are mounted... which one is this? Mounted skirmisher. A nomad skirmisher. And then they have melee as well. They're gonna be sort of friendly. Until either we attack them or they're just not anymore. Okay, some more stones, more food. Good. 6 more orders left. I'd like to make some sort of right. So you can see here, if I'm on this side of the river, it's only one one green square or yellow square is gone. But if I attack from this side, then I'll be hitting it for 2.5. So each of those squares is 2 points of damage. Every unit has 20 hit points, but they can either hit harder or weaker depending on their defense. And of course terrain and where they're coming from, where they're going to. Let's kind of start sneaking around here. Man. Ah, okay. We'll end the year here, and then we're going to have to start fighting them. This is a lot of bad territory here, so... Nation contact. So we found the Hatti, which are the Hittites. They're somewhere, I think, in that direction, because they might have maybe popped in and out. Oh yeah, they came here, grabbed this, and left. Thanks. That's exactly where I wanted to go. Okay, they've brought in some more mounted skirmishers. And now they have marauders. So we'll be able to deal a lot more damage against them than they will against us. Let's go over here and we'll fight from this way, so if they come to attack us, it'll maybe be against the river. I think that's going to be our best bet. So they don't attack us, as you can see there. And then if you put the cursor over them again, you can see the amount of damage we will deal and how much damage they will deal. So maybe we want to get into this hex before in the next turn so that we'll have a better chance of survival. But we could run away too. They don't influence this hex at all as a skirmisher unit. But they might. If they stand here, I'm not going to be able to walk away. So again, like, I might be able to undo that now that I've been thinking about what's going on. But if I show any new information, then undo is off the table for me. Yeah, I don't know how excited I am. Oh, this is a volcano. Huh. Yeah, I don't know how excited I am about sticking around here. I'm gonna live with it for now. I'm gonna live with that for now. Maybe what we can do is bring you back. Let's harvest those goats. And what I can do is be some sort of a nuisance over here. They're not going to be able to attack, but they could attack me, and maybe that will save my my guy there. Rural yields. So this is a rural tile versus urban tile. And unlike civilization, I don't put any worker here. As soon as I change the tile with a builder, that tile immediately produces whatever it produces, the improvement. One more turn for the settler. 2 more orders left. Really wants me to build a hamlet here. Putting a hamlet here, it's an urban improvement, as you can see right here, will immediately increase the size of our borders. So maybe that's why it's wanting me to do that, because it wants me to grab these quickly. Maybe they're onto something here, but I would like to get quarries up quickly, or mines as well. I think I'd rather put a mine here, to be honest. Maybe I want the mines over here next to each other, because the more mines you put next to each other, they gain a 10% increase for adjacent mines, 20% for the Shrine of Vulcan. Good thing, we need to keep an eye on that, and then 100% for adjacent mill class improvement. I've never seen those yet. Oh, watermill, I guess. So let's put the mines over here. Get some pigs back there. I guess I'll do the hamlet as it's suggesting. I want to see what it does. It's going to bring in 20 gold because it's a hamlet and because it is on a trade network because it's attached or next to, adjacent to an urban tile. And 20% for adjacent Odeon and Bath. And in 20 years it'll turn into a village, which will just be better. Yeah, I think earlier would probably be better, right? So let's go for it. It's going to cost 40 stone. And then once that's done, it will increase the size of our borders, as I suggested before. Okay, well, let's keep an eye on this. Yeah, okay, so that's going to be pretty bad, pretty rough. Second city. We'll get back to this here in a minute. I think our best choice is just to come over here. I don't think I want to found it on this side. I think I'm going to be able to find it, found a city here and here anyway. But this looks like a pretty interesting place because of the dyes down here, which are valuable resources. There are crabs over here. There's dyes up here too, but too far away. Another thing is I could be putting quarries over here because of the mountains. That's a better place to put quarries. Maybe that's a better place to go first because I need to increase my stone production. Yeah, let's go this way. What I'm going to do is really screw with them. Because I need them to stay alive. Oh, I can move away. That's good to know. But if I do go over here, I'll be really bad. In a bad place. So I think where I am is okay. Also, another thing I could do is promote. I don't have any good... I can just spend our military training rate or training resource here. But that would take its turn. I wouldn't be able to attack as well. But combat would increase our offense and defense by 5%. Besieger. This is going into urban. This might be a good thing for us because this is an urban tile. Urban and flat. I could bring in a general, but again, if I bring in a general now, then it's going to take my turn. I'm not going to be able to do anything afterwards. Well, let's make this attack, and if they continue to pester me, then I will just move away. I think that's my best option here. They're not going to be able to kill me next turn, is kind of what I'm thinking here. Next unit, that's you. We'll keep you there. So another feature here is once we have a tile that's producing, we can also put a specialist in there. The specialist would cost a... will cost a citizen. Yes, costs a citizen. There it is. So as we gain citizens, we can use them to put them to work in our hexes or our tiles, which will also produce more from that tile. Whereas these just cost food and growth. And this will be the last thing I say, and then I'll probably end the episode here. But basically, there's 3 types of costs and resources that we use for producing or building in our cities. One is growth. This is the little person's head. That's down here. So if you are building a settler, worker, scout, militia, or anything that costs growth, then you're not producing growth. But you are going to be producing training and civics. And these are put up here. Training and civics. So we have a global stockpile. And then we have a city level stockpile. So if you're using your growth, then training and civics go to global. If you are training, then your growth will go toward the city and civics will continue out here. And if you're using civics, then training goes out here and growth goes down here. And we always have culture and discontent growing in the city as well. We want our discontent to be at level 0, or as close to that as possible, but it will always be growing. We want to reduce this as much as we can. Due to the difficulty is the good. I never mentioned that earlier, but this is the level that the AI plays on, is what it suggests. I think for first timers it suggests to go a level below that, but I've just been playing on this and I feel like this is better for me. Playing the same level as the AI. And then there's two for civics. We have specialists, which again what I was explaining before, and projects. Projects are permanent features or things that we can, like repeatable events that we can put on inside of the city. Council is always a 1-year thing. I don't know what this really does. I think it just increases the output of civics and training and money for the turn. I think that might be everything. Festival is a good way. Is the best way, I think. The only way I can find so far is for keeping your people happy. So as this increases, maybe we want to throw a bread and games or a festival for our people to reduce the discontent. I always find it strange to see here that it says -20 sad face, and it's like, wait, is that a good thing or a bad thing? But it's a double negative, I guess. Or we could build some walls. -1 discontent per year if family military defending. Huh. So is that putting a military unit within the city borders? Is that all that means? I feel like we should probably go for a warrior pretty quickly here, though. So I'm going to grab a warrior. Matchmaker. You must be wary of walking this world alone. The matchmaker suggests that it is time to seek a suitable partner to help you rule and make heirs. Because at the moment, our brother, Remus, that jerk, is in line for succession. And we don't want that. I don't think we want that at all. He is a schemer. He does he's kind of smart though. His wisdom is pretty high, but his courage is low. But because he's bold, his courage is increased. And then we have -1 for discipline because he's wanton. And then 2 for charisma. So there's some good things there. Maybe he would make a good governor. Maybe we should do that. He's not available to govern because he's a schemer. Okay, he can serve as an agent or a spy master, but not as a governor. Okay. That makes sense now. So we can't have him as a governor. Who do we want to have as a governor? Maybe we just put our king as governor. We would be getting 2 growth, 1.2 training. 0.1 science, nice, and 1.8. I'd rather somebody else. I think our courtier would be a good governor for now, until we have children, and then maybe we can change that. Or maybe our mother. Our mother would increase the civics, which would be good for civics projects and specialists. But if we're training, maybe we want somebody else to be doing that. This is what I mean. It's a crazy amount of information that we need to go for. Let's go for this. We'll put in King Romulus. That's going to cost 100 civics and 2 orders. Okay. Back to matchmaker. Do we want to marry a Scythian? That might keep them in our favor for some time. A Valerius family member. This would be our courtier. Interesting. Or a Hittite. Where are the Hittites? Have we seen them? They're way over here. So maybe if we marry a Hittite, that might keep them in our favor. If we marry a Scythian, that would keep them in our favor for some time. I think for the Roman Romulus, we're going to marry our courtier. I'm not too excited about that, but it does keep the Valerius family happy, and I'd rather keep them happy than our neighbors. The plot thickens. It has long been known to you that Prince Remus feels ill done by you and harbors vengeful thoughts. Yes, I understand that. Though I'm pretty sure Romulus kills Remus. Until now, it has been only words. However, due to the loose lips of one member of his cabal, word reaches you that he is now actively plotting against you. He can be easily outmaneuvered. I hope so. Marriage. Okay. That's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to try and keep these to about an hour. That's only 6. We're only on year 6 or turn 6. This will go faster sometimes and go slower sometimes due to, what's going on. But I hope you enjoyed this. I think there's going to be... There's a very good game here, and I haven't seen it all, and I'm very excited to see the game unfold and learn more about the game. If you've played the game, let me know what you think. I put this up against Humankind, and I felt like this was going to be the better game for me. Would fit me better than Humankind. And so far it is. I played the demo for Humankind, and so far this definitely is the better game for me. If this is something you're interested in, please leave a like or a comment. That would help out greatly. And if you're feeling ultra generous, you can find my page on Buy Me a Coffee, and this would go right into fueling me further for producing more content such as Old World. So with that, thanks for stopping by, and hope to see you next time.